led his
WB.
to the heart of Mount Doom, where the ring was forged, the one place it could be destroyed.
Cast it into the fire! Destroy it!
No.
WB.
It should have ended that day, but evil was allowed to endure.
Middle-earth, the holy grail of fantasy worlds. Tolkien's masterpiece that gave us hobbits, elves, and all those damn rings. It's the granddaddy of modern fantasy, from some of the greatest and most beloved books of all time to cinematic perfection courtesy of Peter Jackson. This franchise has defined the entire fantasy genre, inspired generations, and turned grown adults into elf-obsessed nerds. But, as always, when something's this iconic, the usual suspects can't help but try and cash in on it. And sweet baby Balrog, has there been some absolute garbage along the way. Video games, spin-offs, half-baked tie-ins that make you question your life choices. Most of them felt like watching Frodo throw the ring into the fire, and then tripping into it himself. We're talking about disastrous failures that should have stayed in the depths of Mount Doom. There should be trials for these people, for what they've done. Despite all the train wrecks, we've still got a handful of Lord of the Rings games that actually slap. Out of the countless attempts to cash in on Middle-earth, we've got War of the Ring, Battle for Middle-earth, Return of the King, Lego Lord of the Rings, and even The Third Age for the true patricians. That's a solid 5 bangers. Sure, it's not a huge number, but compared to Warhammer's track record, where finding one good game is like finding an Uruk in Rivendell, we're practically swimming in masterpieces. But the game we'll be talking about now is Middle-earth: Shadow of War. What was, inevitably, another swing and a miss at the one franchise to rule them all. Full disclosure, I love this game. It's my guilty pleasure. I know it's mostly trash, but my love for Middle-earth is so great I can separate the hay from the needle. Trust me when I say there are a few redeeming qualities that make it worth giving a shot. At least now that it's been declared a dead series by nearly about 7 years. So, all that said, allow me to prove to you I'm not crazy. Skip the first game and come with me on an adventure to Mordor. Now, what is Middle-earth: Shadow of War? Well, let me break it down for you. Imagine someone took Lord of the Rings, threw the actual story in the trash, and then handed you a knockoff action figure of Aragorn that nobody asked for. That's Talion, your protagonist. He's boring, brooding, and about as memorable as that salad you had 3 weeks ago. He's not Aragorn in basically every way that counts. And don't even get me started on how the game initially rolled out. Picture this: WB's most predatory loot box system. It was so bad, it made Gollum's obsession with a shiny ring seem quaint. People were out here getting financially shanked over virtual swords and gear, because, Middle-earth needed a side of corporate greed with its orc bloodbath. It was so bad, they pulled it after a slew of player backlash and unrelenting bad press. Too little too late, unfortunately. Pretty much ruined any chance at a third game. However, all of that? Totally excusable. But, Nilla, how could that possibly be? Because this game is less about saving Middle-earth and more about conducting literal orc eugenics. You're out here breeding and brutalizing orcs like some twisted science experiment, tearing through them in ways that would make even funny glasses armband guy cringe. You know the one I'm talking about. We're talking next level war crimes, branding, shaming, dominating, cutting off limbs, and then sending them back into battle like, here you go champ, now go fight your best friend for my amusement. It's so ridiculous. You kind of forget that there was even supposed to be a story. But hey, when you're committing full-scale orc genocide and turning them into your own personal army, who cares about the plot? Seriously though, the story is absolutely asinine. It's a snooze fest. It's forgettable, pointless, and it contradicts so much of Tolkien lore, as these things always seem to do, that ChatGPT probably could have done a better job. I mean, really? Celebrimbor turning into some power-hungry ghost? Forging another ring and then trying to out Sauron? Sauron? Come on, man. That's not canon. It's not the start of canon. It's some yaoi fanfiction. That said, credit where it's due, the best part of Shadow of War's story is, hands down, Shelob. Yeah, they took Tolkien's giant, nightmare-fueled spider and turned her into a seductive, mysterious sorceress in human form. Because clearly someone in the dev studio thought, you know what this game needs? A little more sex appeal. And let's not pretend they weren't aiming for Gunnar bait with that design. I mean, it's practically written all over her character model. It's Stoya. Nice. But I digress. Again, none of that matters, except for the hot spider lady. Because this game's saving grace, the only reason you shouldn't toss it into Mount Doom with that precious, gangly little goober, is the damn Nemesis system. This thing, it's genius. It's like a chaotic soap opera where every orc you kill, shame, or piss off in some horrific way comes back for revenge. They remember you, they hold grudges, they get promoted, demoted, betray you, and even start bickering amongst themselves. Each encounter feels personal, and watching an orc crawl back from the dead, missing an eye, and vowing to kill you for the 15th time, it's a masterpiece of petty orc drama that gives the game its one shining, redeeming quality. This game's true and most interesting story is the back and forth between you and a bunch of different schizophrenically named orcs.
I was really starting to enjoy the siege.
You'll find yourself wanting to let orcs flee, or even wanting to let them kill you. Talion can't die, it's retarded, don't ask. Just for the sake of some drama, to really build up an orc before you knock him down. Burn an orc? He may come back all charred up. Lop off his arm, his leg, or even his fucking head? Next time you see him, that dude might be made of more metal than meat. Kill him with a summoned spider. Now he's all green and full of pus. Bees? Now he has a hive growing in and on him. Gross. Maybe you're just a twisted fucking psychopath, like me. Shame them over and over until you literally mind break them into drooling, actual schizophrenic nutcases.
Fish leather. Ooh, shiny. I can smell the sun.
The possibilities really do feel endless. And don't worry, if you want to ruin the magic, there are entire Steam guides on how to min-max your orcs or get them to look like you want. Must have put those guys on the orc program after we made them create all those bombs and rockets. Anyhow, once you've made the Bright Lord proud by separating the orky wheat from the chaff, you take all those brainwashed murder hobos to an enemy fortress and lay siege to it, fighting your way through the rank and file until you can lop off the top dog's head and claim the spot as your own, even installing your own puppet regime. You know, I think they use this game for military psyops training, by the way. Just saying. And that's pretty much the entire game loop. Simple, yet satisfying. But wait, there's more. There's an online component. If you have friends who are stupid enough to play this game, you can help them out by assassinating orcs who got one over on them. Or, if you want to be a dick, aka have fun, lay siege to their fortress and kill their eugenics program before it can surpass your own. Overall, is Middle-earth Shadow of War a good game? Not really, no. Almost everything about its overall presentation is dull and lifeless, which is insane when you think about how rich the source material is. But it really is made unique, and I think almost good, thanks to the Nemesis system. It is genuinely revolutionary and manages to transform what would otherwise be mundane interactions into memorable moments or entire arcs. Unfortunately, WB, who rivals Sauron on the dickhead scale, have filed a patent to keep this thing under lock and key. Worse, they haven't even done a goddamn thing with it since the game came out back in 2017. There's talk about a Wonder Woman game, lol, that'll use the system, made by the same company who made Shadow of War, Monolith. But they've been radio silent about it for some time, and it's rumored to be in development hell, go figure. Even if it did see the light of day, there's a good chance they'll chock it full of the worst industry slop known to man, like loot boxes, political messaging, and various other anti-consumer, anti-fan-base practices, just like they did with Shadow of War, and continue to do with their other games. But until that storm comes to pass, I can always hop back into Middle-earth and make my own orc novellas. Can't do any worse than the industry hacks already have, at the very least. Thanks for watching, and if you like my videos, it'd mean a lot if you liked, subscribed, and left a comment about what you'd like to see covered next. Catch you later.